The Dillian Whyte-Alexander Povetkin rematch has been pushed back to March 27th, and it will take place in Gibraltar. Now, this is because of all the restrictions and all this foolishness going on at the moment, because Dillian Whyte, if he was to fight Povetkin in the UK, it seems there's no way of getting him into the UK without him having to go into a government hotel and all this nonsense. So they're having to push the fight back, fight in Gibraltar instead. To be honest with you, I like it because it's just something new. It's something refreshing. If they can get it, a nice backdrop, you know, by the sea and all that kind of stuff. Now, some people are saying the longer this fight gets delayed, the better it is for Povetkin. I tend to think the opposite. I think the longer this fight is delayed, the better it is for Dillian Whyte. Povetkin's not getting any younger. Also, the psychological aspect that I talked about. How will Dillian Whyte recover? Will there be any ghosts, any demons in the back of his mind going into the Povetkin rematch? Most fighters, when they get knocked out badly, it takes them a long time to get over it psychologically. Case in point, any of you who are watching the Otto Wallin Dominic Brazil fight, if you listen to the American telecast, Abner Mares was one of the commentators, and he revealed that after he got knocked out by Johnny Gonzalez, it took him several years to get over that knockout defeat. Several years. He talked about the demons that were in his head, thinking, can I take a shot? If I go in the ring again, am I going to get knocked out again? This is what happens. You see, a lot of boxing fans who have never laced up a pair of gloves in their lives, they seem to think that boxers are robots or something. Like they don't have emotions. They don't have psychological scarring. Well, I can tell you they do. Okay? When a guy gets knocked out like that, in such devastating fashion, it normally has residual psychological effects on them. And it can sometimes take months or even years to shake it off. It certainly took years for Lennox Lewis to fully get his confidence back after his first knockout defeat. After the Hasim Ratman knockout defeat, he recovered almost instantaneously. I guess because sometimes what don't kill you only makes you stronger. And so he understood how to come back psychologically from a knockout defeat because he'd been there before. Now, Dillian Whyte has been there before too, but I'm not 100% sure that he's even over that Anthony Joshua knockout defeat psychologically or neurologically. Because again, you look at the shots he took against AJ, and he eventually got taken out in the 7th, but he was taking hellacious punches from Anthony Joshua. It's only in the 7th when he was really tired and we know he was injured and stuff like that, that he eventually succumbed to AJ's power shots. But subsequent to that, Dillian Whyte has looked far more vulnerable against the likes of Robert Helenius, against Marius Wack, against, who else was there now? Oscar Rivas, Joseph Parker, and of course Povetkin first time around. Now, the rumors are that Dillian Whyte has been smashing people to bits in sparring, that he's really got the bit between his teeth. He's really angry about what happened and he wants to prove himself. And again, one thing I will say is that for the most part, fighters who are Jamaican, and I'm talking about guys who are actually born and raised in Jamaica, like Dillian Whyte, they tend to be made of sterner stuff psychologically than many other fighters. You know, Razor Ruddock was like that. Razor Ruddock was a real tough cookie psychologically. He didn't have the greatest chin. I'm not saying his chin was terrible, but he didn't have the greatest chin. But psychologically, he was just very tough. And a lot of the Jamaican fighters are like that. So perhaps Dillian Whyte will be the same. Maybe he'll bounce back and there won't be any noticeable depreciation in his punch resistance. Maybe he'll go in there and his chin will look better than it was first time around. Maybe he'll go in there and just smash Povetkin to pieces early. And people will be saying, I don't know what you were worried about, Hatman. Look what Dillian Whyte did. He just demolished Povetkin with ease. Maybe that could happen. But again, I just go off what I've seen in boxing in the past. Having followed the sport, been involved in the sport and watched the sport for over 30 years. And you know, in more cases than not, the fighters have negative psychological scars. All right. They have psychological scars from knockout defeats like that. And that's why when they come back and they're in a serious fight again, they're often gun shy or unsure of themselves, you know? So we'll see what happens here with Dillian Whyte. He's a very extreme character, clearly very mentally strong, believes in himself. And as I say, I think the more this fight gets pushed back, the better it is for Dillian Whyte, because he can get himself right psychologically. And obviously, the fact that Dillian Whyte wasn't willing to, I don't know, go to Spain and isolate there and then come to the UK and all that kind of stuff shows that he didn't want to break his training camp. He's clearly and obviously taking it very, very seriously, but he understands how high the stakes are. He wants everything to be perfect. So rather than messing around or being messed around to try and get back into the country, he would rather have a fight on Gibraltar and, you know, have Povetkin and whatnot come out there. I think it's going to be fantastic. Surely they can do it outside in Gibraltar, right? Surely. In the sunshine, maybe by the sea, beautiful backdrop. I'm not sure if they can have crowds there in Gibraltar or not. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I'm out. Come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide range of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly, it's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&A sessions, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. Not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high quality MP3. We've also got a Discord server where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. There's no contract, no commitment, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.